Today, a crisis erupts as Senegal delays its presidential election. Germany plans to build new gas power plants, and King Charles is diagnosed with cancer. From TLDR News, this is your daily briefing for Tuesday, the 6th of February, 2024. A major political crisis, dubbed a constitutional coup by some, has erupted in Senegal, previously considered a pillar of democracy and stability in West Africa. Ahead of the presidential election on February the 25th, incumbent President Macky Sall, who is not running for re-election, announced on Saturday that he was postponing the election until a later date amid a dispute over the approval and rejection of candidates. On Monday, lawmakers approved the 10-month delay, setting the new election date as December the 15th. However, the opposition lawmakers had been ejected from the chamber by security forces after they tried to block the proceedings. The last-minute postponement of the election has sparked protests, which have been met with police, tear gas and restricted mobile internet. President Macky Sall, who will now stay in post until his successor is elected and installed, justified the delay by pointing to a dispute between the Constitutional Council and some members of the National Assembly. The council had controversially barred a number of individuals from running, including popular opposition candidate Ousmane Sonko, who remains in jail on charges of insurrection, which he says are politically motivated. The council also barred Karim Wade, son of the country's third president, from running. Wade's political party subsequently questioned the impartiality of some of the Constitutional Council judges and accused them of corruption. President Sall says the delay will allow him to begin an open national dialogue to bring together the conditions for a free, transparent and inclusive election, but the reaction to the delay suggests that this will be difficult. At least 3 of the 20 presidential candidates have lodged legal challenges to the postponement. The crisis in Senegal comes at a time when democracy is under threat and in retreat in West Africa, particularly after a series of recent military coups elsewhere in the Sahel region. Senegal has been considered somewhat of a bastion of democracy, having never delayed an election, never had a military coup, and having had 3 largely peaceful handovers of power. Macky Sall actually received a lot of praise last year when he announced he would, in line with the constitution, not seek re-election for a 3rd term. He also played a key role in the push by the regional bloc ECOWAS to restore civilian democracy in countries like Niger, Mali and Burkina Faso following coups. But the election delay leaves Senegalese democracy in uncharted territory and has prompted international organisations like ECOWAS and the African Union to urge the country's political class to prioritise dialogue and collaboration so that transparent, inclusive and credible elections can be held. There's more on the way, but be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to make the daily briefing part of your daily routine, or just search for us on your podcast app to listen along. On Monday, Germany agreed to build 4 major natural gas plants to meet electricity demand, despite the country's decision to phase out fossil fuels. The projects will cost €16 billion in total, and will happen alongside the consistent expansion of renewable energies, according to the government. It comes about a year after Germany decided to abandon its final 3 nuclear reactors, in a move to end its dependence on nuclear energy and coal. The government says the new gas power plants are modern, highly flexible and climate-friendly, because they'll be capable of conversion to use clean-burning hydrogen gas powered from renewable sources. However, environmental groups remain sceptical, with Greenpeace calling the strategy a smokescreen for more fossil gas. Germany's energy crisis has been a key challenge for the current ruling coalition, with prices and demand soaring after the country lost Russian gas following Putin's invasion of Ukraine in 2022. The new plans resulted from talks between Chancellor Olaf Scholz of the Social Democratic Party and the Green Party Economy Minister Robert Habeck. The German government has implemented a range of ambitious climate goals since 2021, including to achieve carbon neutrality by 2045, and to derive 80% of electricity consumption from wind and solar energy by 2030. However, a recent report from Berlin's climate agency last year said the country was likely to miss its target of cutting greenhouse emissions by 65% by 2030. Over in the UK, Buckingham Palace has announced that King Charles has been diagnosed with cancer and will postpone public appearances during his schedule of regular treatments, which he began on Monday. He will, however, continue to undertake state business and official paperwork as usual, and hold weekly meetings with Prime Minister Rishi Sunak unless doctors advise him to limit contact. It's not been revealed what type of cancer the 75-year-old monarch has, though the statement says it is not prostate cancer, but was discovered while he was recently being treated for an enlarged prostate. Rishi Sunak said today that the illness was caught early. The statement added that the King remains wholly positive about his treatment and looks forward to returning to full public duty as soon as possible. Buckingham Palace said that the King decided to share his diagnosis in order to prevent speculation and in the hope it may assist public understanding for all those around the world who are affected by cancer. According to Macmillan Cancer Support, around 393,000 people in the UK are diagnosed with cancer each year, with a cancer diagnosis on average at least every 90 seconds. In other news, at least 123 people have been killed by devastating wildfires across central Chile, while hundreds remain missing in what is the country's worst natural disaster in years. The fires burned intensely from Friday before dying down by Monday, spreading from forests to residential areas of Valparaiso and Viña del Mar. Chilean President Gabriel Boric said that 3,000 homes had been burned down in the area. Some 1,400 firefighters were deployed on Sunday, and military personnel were called in to assist the emergency services. Now, as volunteers, rescue workers and survivors search through the remains, Chile is in 2 days of national mourning for what is, without a doubt, the deadliest fire event in Chile's history, according to the Interior Minister. Most of the deaths were reportedly in Viña del Mar, a popular tourist spot that sits on the coast and up into the hills. Authorities are investigating whether the fire was started deliberately, but whatever the cause, a punishing heatwave and gusts of wind fueled the flames and enabled them to spread quickly. And finally, in some uplifting news, the search engine Ecosia has hit a major milestone of planting 200 million trees. Ecosia is a search engine that uses the ad revenue from people's searches to fund tree planting projects around the world, including in Thailand, Indonesia, Sudan, Nigeria, Brazil, Guatemala, Australia, and more. Since funding its first tree planting project in Burkina Faso in 2016 and celebrating the first 10 million trees being planted in April 2017, the company has now helped plant 200 million trees worldwide, while also investing in renewable energy, regenerative agriculture, and other climate-related projects. You might remember that at the end of last year we released a physical newspaper where we summarised all the biggest events from 2023 and predicted what was set to come in 2024. Well, if you haven't yet grabbed a copy, then you can purchase one for just £5.99. Or if you prefer a digital version, then we're now selling those for only £3.99. When selling too long the first time round, we intentionally put a couple of hundred copies of the paper into storage so that we could handle any issues with shipping or refunds. But now that we've successfully completed almost all orders, we thought we might as well sell those reserve issues, hence this very limited time sale. So if you want to support TLDR and grab a copy, then head over to our website. Thanks so much.